Former President Donald Trump was 100% correct a few years ago when he said,
"When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people."
Let me make this clear, and you might not see this video last that long once the Al Gore rhythms kick in, but the media loves it when people that fit their narratives die. Leftist politicians do too. Every outrage you see from a public leftist, media, politician, or otherwise isn't said without a motive behind it. And that's what the difference is between people that actually care about others and the people who we constantly are subjected to in the media and on Capitol Hill. The people who actually care don't have motives other than caring that people were needlessly killed. The others, like the elitist media and leftist politicians, use these tragic events to push a false racism angle or to continue their assault on the Constitution, namely the First and Second Amendments. Now, I can't say this any clearer. The way the elitist media and leftist politicians consistently use tragedies to push their agendas, they absolutely love mass shootings. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me one more time for the latest edition of Things That Need to Be Said for MRC TV. I'm Nick Kangadis. Before I continue, please check out MRC TV's videos on Rumble. Who knows what YouTube and other social media platforms do algorithmically to this and other videos, so why not use a platform that won't censor us for telling the truth? Now, on with the show. Let me just clarify one thing. I am including the people that write for smaller leftist rags as part of the elitist media because they're just the left's useful idiots. But I don't consider them journalists like they do because they wouldn't know what true journalism was if it slapped them in the face. I have a degree in journalism, but don't consider myself a journalist because I give all of you my 2 cents on the stories of the day. Anywho, with all that said, we used to have to wait a while before the left used a tragedy to their political advantage. Then they shortened it and waited a week. Then it was a day. I mean, at least they waited a day. But all that is out the window because the regime currently in power has very quickly made every single solitary part of our lives politicized. The media also feel free to do the bidding of not only the Democratic Party, but the globalist elite in general. They are merely the puppets that the billionaires they rail against pay to push the pre-approved narratives handed down from on high. And if you didn't know, their current all-out push, no matter the topic they're attempting to brainwash everyone with, is that all white people are racist, even if they don't think so or know it. And if you question their narrative, you're guaranteed racist. You're not allowed to ask questions.
We will ask the questions.
I've had enough of that shit, folks. Pardon my language, but I'm not a racist, and I don't need some hack on Twitter that needs to learn to code telling me about who I am when they don't know me from Adam. Enough of that crap. I'm firing back against all of these people who baselessly label others without repercussions for their words. If you or I state a fact of some sort on social media, we get banned. You know how I know? Because I've been banned twice. I'm sure a lot of you have been banned out there as well. But because our names aren't of the household variety, no one knows just how many of us have been unjustly and intentionally removed from portions of our society, all because we don't agree with some leftist dork in Silicon Valley. You want to see some racists? I'll show you some racists. Let's take a look at these scumbags. How about Representative Ilhan Omar when she's not, allegedly, marrying relatives in order to get them into this country or funneling campaign funds to her husband's company, which she also reaps the benefits from? The illest of Hans takes time out of her taxpayer-funded day to tweet this garbage. Quote, "The shooter's race or ethnicity seems front and center when they aren't white. Otherwise, it's just a mentally ill young man having a bad day. Narratives drive our responses to awful crimes committed against innocent people. Pay attention to these responses and who is targeted." But wait, couldn't we just take Omar's outrage over this tragedy that she's clearly using for political and social justice points and say the following?
Some people did something
But those of us with actual hearts wouldn't think of doing or saying something like that about a tragedy that personally affected her, because sane people have compassion. Sociopaths don't. It doesn't take away from the point I was making, which is, why do we have to take everything people like Omar says as gospel, but if something doesn't fit their narrative, it's instantly dismissed like Omar did concerning 9/11?
Some people did something.
It's time to hold these people to account. Now, I'm not calling for people to be physically confronted over it, but it's time to grow a backbone and tell them no to their unintelligent and intentionally divisive slop that they throw out there just to piss off the haters. I'm just going to show you folks a few more tweets of the racist bull leftists are putting out there, much of which already didn't age well. Quote, just because he's Muslim doesn't mean he's not a white guy, unquote. It does if the lunatic is from Syria. Quote, extremely tired of people's lives depending on whether a white man with an AR-15 is having a good day or not, unquote. Yeah? Well, I'm extremely tired of seeing worthless pundits think that having a blue check mark entitles you to being a racist against white people. Yes, you could absolutely be racist against white people, and if you don't think so, you're probably a racist too. Quote, the shooter was taken into custody. In other words, it was almost certainly a white man again. If he were black or brown, he would be dead, unquote. You wish, if only to push your narrative further. And that's my point. These people love it when people of color are killed by white people because they feel it's their cue to trivialize the death of those people. Also, they can make some kind of woke point. These people had no problem pointing out the race of the people who were killed in Atlanta, but because white people were predominantly killed in Colorado, you didn't hear jack about it, did you? Next, quote, saying the Colorado shooter isn't white, he's a Muslim is the equivalent of saying he's not black, he's Baptist. Y'all know Muslim refers to a follower of the religion of Islam, right? Unquote. Here's the thing, he's right in a sense. Don't worry, I'll get to how this dude is a dumbass for the comparison he made. I know he's right in a sense because when the media, politicians, and others like him called Trump a racist for his travel ban of certain countries a few years ago, I called that stupid since you can't be racist against Muslims because Islam is a religion, not a race. However, the same people like this guy who made the comparison he did are the same people who, like I said just a second ago, called Trump a racist for what they called the Muslim ban. So which is it? Is Islam a race or a religion? Is it both? That needs to be clarified because it can't only count as racist when it fits your narrative. But I got it. It's only racist when the person can be somehow, possibly, maybe, if you look at it in the right light, a white person. Some call that social justice. I call that racism. I call these people racist, and I don't want an apology. I don't want some long-winded explanation. I don't even want to change a heart. You know what I want? I want people of every walk of life to think for 2 damn seconds before they shoot some substanceless platitude that only makes sense to the people they're sending out their dog whistles to. Isn't it funny how every time the left says someone on the right is sending out dog whistles to their base, that it's only the left that hears it? That's because racists are real, and they're the same people they've always been, leftists. There are racists on the right. There's jerks in every segment of every population on Earth. It's human nature for some people to be awful. It's never going away either. Democrats are the party of slavery, Jim Crow, the KKK, and overwhelmingly against giving black people the vote. It's like, say you hate black people and get it over with already. We see your ignorance masquerading as tolerance. Heck, if they were so woke and anti-racist, how come I'm the only person besides the local outlets, liberal or conservative, who week in and week out covers the victims of shootings in Chicago? Sure, it's my hometown, but that doesn't take away from the fact that President Trump offered to help try and curb the violence so many times in that city, but because he's Trump, Chicago's own Mayor Beetlejuice turned him down every single time. Yeah, the Dems really care about minorities. Even the Dems who are minorities haven't changed squat in that city, and they've had control of it since 1931. All that aside, much like a leftist loses their mind when their arguments are used against them, especially when it results in them looking like an actual racist, no one, including white people of any ideological background, likes to be called a racist. I think the vast majority of people can agree that racism is bad. Okay. It really is. I'd like to see where all these people are who cheer on racism all the time. I've yet to find one outside of the occasional jaw-dropping racist proclamations that you see on social media and video platforms. Oh yeah, and all those on the left that like to basically accuse everyone else of racism. It's in order to hide their own. So, what do all of you think out there? Were these things that needed to be said? Let me know in the comments, where I do read most and reply to some. And don't forget to subscribe to MRC TV's channel on Rumble. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, share, and give it a thumbs up. Those are the 3 best ways to help these videos reach more people, and it's the best way to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRC TV comes out with a new video if they haven't censored it or taken it down yet. Like us on Facebook and check out more of our work at MRCTV.org. For MRC TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.